Today, I want to talk to you about the importance of systems when it comes to your health and fitness goals. So, let's begin with defining systems, an organized framework or method. I think it's important here to first of all differentiate between systems and goal setting. Goal setting to me is like pinning a destination on a map of where I want to go. It focuses on the outcome. So it's important to know where you're going, otherwise the journey will be scattered and will lack purpose, right? So if goal setting is equivalent to plotting your destination on a map, setting up systems is equivalent to mapping out your route, where you are and where you want to be. That's where systems come in. So goal setting is the outcome and system setting is the process. So let me give you an example of a system that I set up in my life. So when my kids get home from school, I have created a system for them. I was noticing in that first 10 minutes when they got home from school, it was just this flurry of activity and energy that felt quite stressful and overwhelming to me. I'm sure you can relate. That hour when children get home from school is like, oh boy. So they used to come in, throw their stuff all over the floor, make a mess in the hallway. More than once, a rotting lunch was found the next morning in their backpack. It was just complete chaos and all over the place. And it left me stressed. I would just look down that hallway and see chaos, and I would feel that. So I started to implement systems when they came home. So now what they do is they line up their shoes against the wall, they take their lunches out of their backpacks, and they hang their backpacks on a doorknob. Their lunch bag goes on the kitchen counter, exactly where I want it, beside the blender, and they take their water bottles out, dump their water into the sink, and put the bottle upside down in the drying rack. Now, this takes 2, maybe 3 minutes, depending on their mood, when they get home from school. It streamlines their actions and eases anxiety for everyone in the home. And yes, it took reminders every single day for probably like 3 weeks, but now it's just what they do. They get home and this is the process they do. They don't even think about it, it just happened. But let's dive deeper into some of the benefits behind creating systems in your life. Okay, so 4 benefits to creating systems in your life. Number 1, you're wasting less time. Number 2, you're saving brain power. Number 3, you're taking away cognitive dissonance. And number 4, you're creating habits. Starting with number 1, wasting less time. When you set up systems in your life, there's a flow. When we're moms, we often create systems for other family members in our home to save us time, right? And also as moms, we fully understand and appreciate the importance of saving time, or better yet, maximizing time whenever we can. So setting up systems will waste less time in the long run. Number 2, we're saving brain power. And literally, who doesn't want that? Creating system takes all the thinking out of it. Like I said, my kids don't even think about what they're doing with their backpacks. They just do it. Can you imagine working out without even thinking about it? That's exactly what happens when you create systems. This is why Steve Jobs wore a plain black t-shirt every day, to take the thinking out of it. Decision-making fatigue is a real thing. And if you follow the habits of any successful person, they minimize the amount of decisions they make during the day so they can conserve their brain power for the really important things. Systems take away energy expenditure through reducing thought. Just happen. All right, number 3 is probably my favorite one, and that's taking away cognitive dissonance. So I have a degree in psychology, and I remember the very first psychology class I sat in. I sat in this giant lecture hall and the professor was at the top, and he talked about this concept of cognitive dissonance, and I was hooked. So I'll read the definition straight out of dictionary.com just to make it clear and concise. So cognitive dissonance is the state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially as relating to behavioral decisions or attitude change. Here's an example. You set a goal to go to the gym so you can lose 10 pounds. You keep it up for a week, maybe 2 weeks. And then one night you notice that it's really cold outside. You think about staying home and being warm in your bed while finishing up a novel that you're completely obsessed with. That moment when that thought enters is cognitive dissonance. You want to go to the gym to lose weight, but you allow this thought to trickle in that challenges that desire. And it always causes a state of feeling unsettled, and it directly links to anxiety. The space in between what you desire and that opposing thought is cognitive dissonance. The problem is our thoughts. We come up with ridiculous excuses for why we can't get to the gym, or we tell ourselves a story about how we'll never have the body we love anyway, so why bother? Systems take away this tension of cognitive dissonance. There's no space to question our actions. There's no room for talking ourselves out of anything. Systems ensure that the work gets done. All right, the last benefit behind creating systems is creating habits. And this kind of overlaps with the other ones, but I just wanted to touch upon it briefly. Habits, as you may know, are vital to success. There are no secrets to weight loss and fitness. You need to show up and do the work consistently, day in and day out. Consistency is what will get you there. And what will help ensure that you have the ability to be consistent? Habits, right? It's when working out or eating healthy becomes habitual that weight loss and fitness find ease in your life. And how do you create habits? Through systems. It all links and ties in together. Okay, so now that we've covered what systems are and why they're important, I'd like to give you some specific examples that might be pertinent to you in your life. And I would love if you can choose one thing to begin working on. Think about what your biggest challenge is when it comes to weight management or health in general, and go from there. So again, I broke these down into two categories to make it a little bit easier: fitness and nutrition. I've included two ideas under fitness and then 3 ideas under nutrition. So let's see what resonates with you. So when it comes to fitness, I've got 2, as I said. Number 1 is to carve out a workout schedule. This is complete key to success. And unfortunately, one of those systems that people fluff off or don't prioritize. So here's what you do. You grab your calendar and just have a look at every day of the week. Block off time every single day to get your movement in. You'll have to decide a duration that works best for you. So maybe one day you have 20 minutes, maybe another day you have a full hour. Great. Whatever you have, book it in. But I'm all about big goal setting, but try not to overreach here. The last thing I want you to do is feel like you're overwhelmed. If you've booked in a 90-minute workout and really you only have 45 minutes and you have other things that you need to tend to, I don't want you to have that sense of overwhelm, right? So be realistic here in what kind of time you can carve out. And if your life allows, keep the same days and same time every single week. That will become to feel more fluid in your life. For example, for me, I know that on Tuesdays, I have 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock booked off for my movement every single week. There's no figuring out when I can squeeze it in, if I can squeeze it in, what kind of time I have. It's booked on my calendar and I show up at 2 o'clock every Tuesday, ready for the next couple hours. The key here is to keep this appointment. Think of this as an appointment with a specialist you've made months ago. It cannot be touched unless something really serious happens, but that's not too often going to happen. You would not cancel an appointment with a specialist as you value his or her time and knowledge. Value yourself in the same way. Don't touch it. Number 2 system when it comes to fitness is to have a workout guide to follow. Don't just show up at the gym and dilly-dally around and try to figure it out as you go. Again, you'll be wasting time and energy and brain power. Have a workout plan ready to go. My plan is the same every single day. So for example, I do different things on different days, but for example, on Tuesdays, I know that I have a 90-minute workout to do on my bike, and then I follow that up with a tricep and core workout, and each of those exercises are mapped out for me, including the weights I need to use for each tricep exercise. It's there. I've printed it. It's in my gym. I know what I'm doing on Tuesdays. It's laid out. I don't spend my time planning, thinking, figuring out, and trying to put it all together on the fly. I have ahead of time planned all that out, printed it, and posted it where I'm going to be. So you can create simple workouts based on your goals. It's not too complicated to do. You can find resources online or even find a personal trainer willing to create these for you. Either way, have a plan that's simple to follow and is consistent week after week. Okay, so those are the 2 strategy ideas, system ideas that you can implement when it comes to fitness. And now when it comes to nutrition, I've got 3 different ones because I know we struggle with different things. So the first in nutrition is to eat the same time every day. Not only are you firing up your metabolism by doing this, but you're taking out the thought process behind eating, right? An important thing when it comes to systems is taking out your thoughts. For me, I know I eat at 7:30, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Dinner is around 6. Dinner I'm a little bit more lenient with, but otherwise I know the times I'm eating. I don't get caught up in life and forget to eat. My body is primed and ready to eat at those specific times. I don't even have to think about it. My body now knows 10 o'clock, I'm hungry. 12 o'clock, I'm hungry. I don't have to think about it. That's when I eat. So number 2, when it comes to food, is to eat similar meals each day. And yes, I absolutely believe in eating a variety of foods to make sure you're getting all the various nutrients. But there's something about eating similar meals each day that, again, takes out the thinking and anxiety over what to eat, that time spent at the pantry, mulling over, opening the fridge 45 times. This does not have to be boring. Again, what you're doing is building a framework with which to allow ease and flow into your life. So let me just break this down in my life. At breakfast, 7:30, again, I eat at 7:30, it's always a smoothie. So I might vary what I put into it, if I feel like I need something different or if I want to include different foods, I might vary what I put into it. But the basis is always the same: frozen fruit, a scoop of protein powder, and nut milk. I don't think about it, I just make it. Always a smoothie. I don't think about it. For 10 o'clock, I always have eggs, a carbohydrate, and a veggie. So I usually do scrambled eggs, and the carbohydrate might vary. So I might do toast. I might have a wrap instead if I'm feeling like an egg wrap, or I might make like sweet potato. So always have a carb, and the same goes for veggie. I always have a veggie. What I have varies depending on what I'm feeling like or what I have available in my fridge. But the framework is there to leave little thought. Does that make sense? Okay. The last one when it comes to nutrition is a little bit of a bigger picture one, but it's to meal prep at the same time every week, the same day every week. Maybe Mondays at 5 o'clock, you spend an hour in your kitchen chopping vegetables, cooking meat, steaming potatoes. So you have that all ready for the week. Not only are you planning out your week for success, but you have this system in place where everything flows. So maybe on Monday for that 1 hour, you're like, oh man, I don't really want to be in the kitchen right now. But as the week progresses, there's so much more ease to your week. You've got your meals ready, you've got everything prepped, you just eat, right? Or you can switch up. So I like to do the same thing every week, cook the same things every week, but you can switch it up. So for example, you might have a list: week 1, this is what you'll prepare; week 2, this is what you'll prepare; week 3, this is what you'll prepare, and then repeat. Does that make sense? Okay, great. I hope this is all kind of coming together in your head. And I'm sure you can come up with a ton of systems you can begin implementing in your own life to reduce anxiety and overwhelm. You probably have an idea of where you're feeling that overwhelm and anxiety already, and then just choose one thing to start implementing. But just remember that when you begin setting systems up, it initially takes legwork and planning. Implementing, repeating, reminding, legwork, planning, implementing over and over. But once you get over that hump of establishing this new system, it just flows without thought. And it's when you get to that point that you'll reap the benefits in a massive way. So just take the time and energy right now to put in the work of planning, prepping, reinforcing, knowing that in long term, the time and energy will be non-existent. You are setting your future self up for success right now. The less you have to think about what you're doing and the more primed you are to just do those things, the easier it becomes to systemize the process of achieving your goals. And at that point, achieving your goals is inevitable. Just want to repeat that one more time. The less you have to think about what you're doing and the more primed you are just to do those things, the easier it becomes to systemize the process of achieving your goals. And at that point, achieving your goals is inevitable. Okay, that's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed this content and found value in it, it would mean so much to me if you shared it with someone or left a review for the podcast. Or if you're watching on YouTube, click the like button or subscribe below. Otherwise, I will see you next Wednesday. Stay healthy.